And good Tuesday morning. It is October 4th, and we are continuing our interview series. This week, we are focused on Newport, chatting with candidates from Newport School Committee, as well as Newport City Council at large. We also have a couple gubernatorial candidate interviews coming up as well today, as well as later in this week. You can visit whatsupnewp.com for the full schedule of events, interviews this month. We've invited every candidate in Newport, Middletown, Portsmouth, as well as Senate District 11, 12, 13, gubernatorial, Secretary of State. So we have about 70 interviews that could potentially happen this month. So it is a busy month. One of the things that I mentioned yesterday during our interviews, the sample ballot is now live. You can visit vote.ri.gov. You can pull up your sample ballot wherever you live in Rhode Island, and you can find your polling place as well as see all that is happening on the ballot. For Newport voters, one of the things I hope will not take you by surprise by doing this is there are 10 questions on the back of the ballot. And I encourage everybody to get to know those questions and find out why you should approve or reject. And of course, with these interviews, what we're doing is finding out why you should vote for certain candidates. And no stranger, we've done this before once or twice now. Becky Bolan joins us today. And good morning, Becky.
Good morning.
How many, you're running for re-election. How long have you been on school committee?
Somebody asked that the other day, and Sandra Flowers and I came on at the same time. She said 14 years. It's hard to believe it's been that long, but if she's correct, then that's true.
All right, we have Sandra Flowers coming up at 1 p.m. today, so we'll see if she has the same history. Yes. You are 5th on the school committee list of candidates. There are 8 people running for 7 seats.
True.
For those first-time voters, maybe just getting old enough or just moving to Newport, just reintroduce us to who Becky Bolan is.
I came from a long list of educators, and I was a school teacher until having 6 kids and a military, following my husband and his military career prevented me from really going out and getting a job as we moved around the country. So I basically spent all those years volunteering in the schools and supporting my children. So I bring a unique experience to the school committee in that I'm the only prior military family. And so I think it helps in cases of always, being able to relate to and having to be able to see the military side of life to make sure that we honor those families and make sure we take care of them and are being fair. So that's one reason. And the second reason is I think I have the abilities to really collaborate and, work in a cohesive fashion and try everybody to come to, to decision making by informing people. So I think I've gained a lot of skills, and I have a lot of the historical knowledge, institutional knowledge of everything, things that have happened in the past. So those are some of the reasons right there. And I'm going to say the biggest reason is when I was asked to be the chair of the building committee, I made a commitment to see it through. So I knew that, oh boy, it's going to be another, it's 4 years, at least 2 terms, maybe 3 to finish this out. So that's where my commitment lies is, getting this building through.
And that answers my next question is, why you're seeking re-election. It's because the job's not done.
The job is not done, right? And it's the most exciting thing I've ever done in my life, being a part of decision making, and knowing you're going to have that every little detail is important, and making sure we get it right. And so, both Louise, I'm sure when you interview her, so I basically said I'll be a co-chair and took it on with her. So I think we're a really good, strong team, and along with Colleen, Jermaine, our superintendent, we are really trying to make this a school that we promised our community.
I say this in jest, but it feels like the last couple of elections we've had some big things happening with schools on the ballot. Can you promise us this is the last time for a while? I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
No.
But
Nice.
last time around, as a reminder for folks, was the Rogers Pell construction projects. This time is regionalization. School committee's been quite busy.
It has been 100%. I think the the project at the school building projects alone, take up an incredible amount of time. And I also served on the steering committee which has been disbanded, for the regionalization project. And so it's been very busy.
Um, I think I know where you land on this, but just so we can get your opinion on it. Question five for those that, yeah, question five for those that haven't seen it, is the authorization, the establishment of a regional school district. Pretty much this would combine City of Newport and Town of Middletown to establish a regional school district. Thoughts on question five?
Well, first of all, if it was regionalization, I wouldn't even have a question, because we've been wanting that for I don't know how long. I think our community showed that the last time we voted on it. But this time it's more difficult, because this is more of a unification of administrative, and it has lots of potential to be a lot of different things. And you can't promise anything, because it's all up to the new, um, school board, when they're put into office, to figure all these things out. So you can't really make any promises. And I think, for me, I'm about, like, all kids all the time, and I would want nothing more than for the Middletown children to have a new schools. Like, our children are gonna really, it's gonna change our community when this new high school opens. And so I believe, though, that I was not hired, elected by the people of Newport. I wish I was hired. That would have been nice. By the voters in Newport, to represent the best interests of our own students. And so I'm conflicted, because there's a lot of financial things that are not, you know, there's no guarantees in terms of, we took out that bond for, well, it's actually a lot more than 106 million, because, with the interest. And, um, and even though we're going to get reimbursed an extra 46 million from the state of Rhode Island, we took the bond out, and your taxes will be going up every. At one point, I thought it was, a tax avoidance, and the taxes wouldn't be going up. But when I truly understood it we don't know where that money's going to go. It's and we're in a much better financial shape than is Middletown right now. Uh, we've got a 5.2 million dollar educational fund set up for our students to go on, and to take us hopefully a lot farther than the ESSER money would have. And um, and we aren't $2 million in the hole. And so I think everybody's going to really have to look at this and look hard. And I rarely do our constituents get to make their own, vote on something. So I don't want to take that away from anybody, but I recommend everybody go read up closely on this and make a decision for yourself.
you know, you have your ear to the ground. Are there? I'm trying to gauge how many buckets there are here. There are the people who say, grab the money and go. There are the people that I might be able to support this, but we don't know where that extra money is going to go. We don't know the educational benefits to this.
Right.
And then we have the people who are 100% against any kind of regionalization, no matter what kind of money. Is that kind of how you see it?
I do. I think that there are a lot of people out there that don't understand it at this point, because I was on the steering committee, and it wasn't until I'm halfway through it that I really realized that you know that money, we're taking it out. We've already taken the bond out, And so we have to pay it back, and we don't really know, you know, where that money goes. So I think there are people that may solely make this on money decisions. I also think it's very risky in that uh, we can't make we could form an educational committee and they could come up with all kinds of ideas, but nothing they do or say is binding. Even if our city council, passes a resolution that would commit money, as they've pointed out in the past, one city council cannot commit another city council to a resolution. And we'll have a brand new city council on, November 9th. So that's
What's
a little scary.
Yeah, what's something that could happen between now and we're just going to use election day. I know people can start early voting October 19th. What's something that could happen between now and November 8th that would change your mind to support it or would change your mind not to support it?
Uh,
What will push you one way or the other?
I don't know. I mean, I sit at night and think about this a lot. I think about being there for all students, and then I just keep drawing back myself back to when I was elected by the people of Newport, and I also believe that this did happen quite quickly, and and do I think if it doesn't pass, will it come back up? And I think the answer is yes, and it will come back up, and maybe it'll come back up with a few more guarantees that'll make it easier to swallow. I don't know that all the money they promised that we're going to save is there, because I can tell you right now, when Pell was built, and this is where institutional knowledge comes in. Um, our superintendent then told us that there was not $800,000 in savings, and when in reality, you you the number of kids dictates how many nurses you're going to need. And he's like, well, now we have one building, only one nurse. Well, and one nurse can't serve 900 little people. So those savings and the amount of space custodians have to clean, in the end, it wasn't. I don't know that we even saved any money at all on doing it. I'm not against the idea when we built Pell, but I'm just saying it's not the money saver that everybody wants to make it out to be. So,
Yeah,
uh,
it's. I had a feeling about the last bond question with Rogers and Pell. I do not have a feeling right now. I don't think, unlike us nerds, politely calling you a nerd,
yeah,
who are
thanks.
trying to understand the question
Yeah.
and the impacts, I'm worried. Not worried. I'm not sure how the people who are uneducated on it, who flip the ballot over on November 8th, how they're going to make that decision.
Oh, I'm with you on that too, because it's so complicated. It's got different layers to it, and I know we're going to have one more meeting. It was just planned, I believe, though it's going to be just 1 week before the election, where we meet with Middletown um, and Mario up from Ride. We had one of those like a couple weeks ago, and but this one's the week before the election, and I think there'll be a great place to come get some questions answered and help people to make that decision, because it's complicated. It
It
really is.
is. And I'm not sure how many people are leaning each way. It's one of those things that is
I
kind of
know. Yeah.
hidden. It
I
passes. Where
I
should the cost savings go?
yeah, I'll just say if it passes, I'll 100% support it though.
Yeah.
You know, it where should this savings go? That if there are savings, obviously right back into education. So we have some kind of predictable. I think that's been the hardest thing about being on the school committee all these years, is begging, borrowing, stealing, money, robbing Peter to pay for Paul. Um, we have a very good relationship right now with our city council, though. They work very collaboratively with us, and so I think that's been the best thing about the last 2 years, is finally being able to commit money to things that needed to get done, and so I we just need to be able to have a predictable way to know that money's coming in, because you should never use one-time monies, and that's what this money we have set aside right now to pay for ongoing things. It's bad finances 101 to do that, because you're going to, kick the can down the road and you're going to have a problem, a big one.
What's it has been a lot of very busy couple of sessions for Newport School Committee. What's the biggest challenge?
Right. Biggest challenge. I think it's figuring out how, to deal and to approach, learning in the classroom, and trying to get our test scores up, because no matter what you say, we're judged on purely our test scores. And trust me, there is so much more going on in Newport Public Schools. Our students, in this high school is going to be the opportunity for all kids to excel academically, athletically. We want all kids, besides, graduating, you know, academically, we want them all to have, hands-on skills, and that you can use throughout your life, whether you choose to ever use those carpentry skills as in your family home, or go out and get a job. So I think that figuring that out, it's also very difficult, because 20% of our kids come in and out every year. So we did a study one year in 2016, and of the 180 kids that started kindergarten, we only had 42 left.
Wow.
In high school, 42 of the same kids left. So you're not even testing the same population.
It's the definition of transient.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think that's it. I think figuring that out, and how to serve our students and get them prepared for life.
Is there is there an example that you can use? Is there another school district somewhere, or another transient community, or what can we look at to improve or get better?
I think we have to find a district somewhere that has the very same kinds of challenges that we have, and I don't know that district is here in Rhode Island, but a district that then is successful, and I've asked Colleen now if we can do another study. Let's see how we're doing with the kids that have been with us, much like back in 2000. Actually, it was 2014, that class I was talking about that graduated. And let's see how we're doing now with the kids. And I'll just say that we own them all, but I mean, we've owned since kindergarten. How can we say that we're doing a really good job with them? Because
Yeah, I know you probably don't have the numbers in front of you, but do you factor in the transient, or the amount of kids that are coming in and out to military, or cost of living, or?
Military is actually, we're getting a lot more military now, because they've turned the military housing back over to you can't rent like at Fort Adams now if you're a civilian. So as soon as your lease is up, you're out. So we are getting a number of them. It's mostly, and that's maybe 10% that come in and out for military, and that number's probably going up. I just it's never really looked. We actually kept records last year, very close records of, 5 of them were military. Each month, how many of the moves were because of what? And a lot of times it's living situations that change, and I'm just hoping, our immigrant population, we get to keep them for, they stay here and they stay in school. I just think there's so many possibilities, to do with them, and to help them. But they're difficult. Some of them come without any skills at all in high school.
What's the biggest misunderstanding about the school committee?
Biggest misunderstanding.
I ask you as someone who is tenured. I'm going to follow it up while you think about it. I'm going to ask you what's something you wish everybody knew, so you can patch it in there if you want. And also, how can the community support the school committee? Well, I would think that everybody in the community wants to see the school committee succeed because the students succeed. So kind of what's something you wish every voter could read at the ballot, or could every voter can take something away, and what's something that kind of gets misunderstood?
Okay, I think the biggest thing is, last time we went out, on the ballot, 78.5% of our people said, get us a new high school and take care of that issue at the at the elementary school and get the space back there. So I think right now, like, we're in a very good spot in terms of support from our community. And the biggest issue, facing us is the one you just brought up, is how do we address, you know, bringing kids back up to, even some of them back to where they were, because that money that came from the federal government is for learning loss. And we're trying everything. We're putting a lot of money towards, first of all, if they're not at school, you can't educate them. And also, we put money, we're doing a universal free breakfast now at the elementary school. We're testing it out right now because it's not supported by the federal government in that it's being paid for by them. Because if they're hungry, you can't learn. So we're setting the stage, and we also put that welcome center in it at this elementary school because we want to get parents into the school to feel part of, the effort. So, and then what was the other question? What's
Just the ways community can support. You kind of talked about it. Biggest misunderstanding, or what's something you wish every resident or voter knew in Newport?
uh, I think that also, understanding that finances, that everything's up every year, and so, really need to be supported, even when we have a fund balance. That's what happened for many years there, that we did not get any increases, and then, like I said, you have that huge, hole in your budget because you used one-time money. So I think a predictable, encouraging the city council to, and then we've asked them to support us every year with the 2% increase. And I think, and to know that we're all on the same page. There's nobody on that school committee that, doesn't want to see our kids really thrive. And we sometimes just have to get the message out, because there's other kinds of intelligences and people that, it's not always about what you scored on a calculus test. It's we have lots of success stories in Newport.
As with all these positions, it is a thankless job, and I appreciate all the time. And I'll say it about, I think, every candidate, as well as everybody who serves right now, always answers questions, always gets back to us, responds to an interview request within a couple days, and is on here within a couple days. So I appreciate it. You mentioned some of the things with, free breakfast and things. How worried are you, or you probably don't want to speak for the school committee as a whole, but the cost of living in Newport, affordable housing crisis is
It's huge.
It's got to be a worry, but is there anything you can do?
Well, so I've headed the health and wellness committee since I've been here, and we've actually done an incredible amount of work trying to identify all students, and our middle school is up to 79.2%. This is last June. Are kids that qualify for free lunch or reduced price lunch. Is that crazy? It's mind blowing. And but we've done a really good job identifying these kids and making sure that they have food. And we also have a policy that absolutely no one gets lunch shamed or denied a full meal any day they come through that line. So, but I mean, there's just these families. Where they're being priced out. You see it all the time, on Next Door Neighbor. Like, my landlord's selling the house. I need to find a 2-bedroom, and they're having to move. It's, it's really sad.
It is. And, with the new council, no matter who is elected, there'll be some new leadership with Ray Gomes, who is chair of the school committee. I think I just said council. chair of the school committee, is retiring. So it'll be a new makeup and new leadership of the committee.
Will. Yeah, so Ray, last time I was fortunate. I don't know how that but I came in first last time, and so Ray and I had a talk about who would be the chair. And first of all, Ray did an incredible job. He's real. I said, why change? Why at that point, like the wheel isn't broken. Let's stick with what's really working, and I'll focus on the building, and so we will have new, and we have people that have been on it. If I'm asked to take my turn, I'm ready, um, and we'll see. But I think that's where collaboration and is going to come in, the ability to pull people together, and not just, it means the city council too, keeping them informed and focused, and our own group, the eye on the prize.
That's it.
It's about children each and every day, and every day is a new day in a child's life. So
Becky, just because there's been a couple questions about it, where would you suggest people go, or look or read or attend to find out the most they possibly can about the regional school district?
Well, first of all, you need to read the law. So you can get that right online. I wish I could quote it, but the enacted law, and there's a lot of information on that in there, that you're going to have to absorb. And then I would talk to people. I would, whenever I'm with the new group of people, in Newport, I'll just bring up the subject and talk about it, because I think we learn a lot from each other, and I know there is a group out there right now that's against it. That is actually out working on that. You can go read some of their you can have to go to both sides. We don't really have anybody in Newport that's pushing this yet, and
yeah, you're just I've spoken to a lot of people, and it sounds like everybody I speak to, for the most part, the majority, I'll say, can come up with a reason to vote for or against it.
Yeah,
they can give me one on each side, which is what is boggling my mind.
It is. Oh, it is. It's a huge leap of faith to do it, and our superintendent, I think she doesn't ever come out, as a whole, representing the school committee. I think, but she personally believes it could be a really good thing, and that you just got to have faith that the people you elect are going to make really good decisions, if on that school board and also on the financial board.
And we spoke with Superintendent Colleen Burns-Germain last Wednesday. If anybody wants to watch that interview, we talked at length about it. You can find it on whatsupnuke.com. And she joins us on the last Wednesday of every month. So you're hoping for people to re-elect you
Right.
come November 8th, October 19th, whenever they choose to vote, because the job's not done.
Job is not done. And, I think when the school opens, the job could be done. You don't want to be on here forever, but I just, I'm truly enjoying, it's a huge time commitment, but, as I said, where, and especially in your life at this stage of your life, where can you have such an impact? And so I'm really enjoying it.
Anything that we missed today, Becky?
No, there's a lot of great. The good thing is, on running for school committee, there's a lot of great. I think whoever gets elected is going to really represent, and I have no doubt that they can all do the job. That people running for school committee, so there'll just be one person on the outs there.
That's it.
So, and I'm hoping it's not me. How's that?
There you go. 8 people running for 7 spots. I believe
spots.
We are chatting with all of them. We have interviews lined up, so people can follow along on our website. And we wish you the very best of luck over
Thank
the
you.
next couple weeks.
Thank
and
you
thank you for joining us
thank
so
you.
early in the morning.
Yeah, thank you so much for doing this. And yeah, it's a great service, for our community.
And as I said it yesterday, hopefully we're introducing you to the candidates, but hopefully we're also introducing you to your neighbor and people in your community. And you could find out if you are looking to volunteer. Becky can certainly find a place for you to
I can.
volunteer. And so that's what I love doing these because
Well, yeah, we're just about ready to open up a food pantry at Rogers. We're in the process of, and so I'm looking for some health and wellness volunteers that can help with that. It's toiletries and food.
excellent. Well,
Yeah. So if you want to volunteer, be on my health and wellness committee. Let me know.
all right. Well, Becky,
All right.
thank you so much,
Thank you
and we
very
will
much.
chat with you soon. All right, that is Becky Bolan, and she is on the November ballot, and she comes up on the Newport School Committee. She is number 5 on there, and she is seeking your vote. If you missed any portion of this interview, you can find it on whatsupnewp.com. Share it with your friends, family in Newport, all of those voters, and you can compare and contrast all the candidates as we go through and interview them between now and the end of the month. Thanks for watching.